Difficulty curves in a typical game look something like this, but a full Hades playthrough looks more like this. As you get persistent upgrades, the game becomes easier, but eventually you'll be putting on higher and higher levels of heat. I love the heat system to death, it's a robust and rewarding system, but eventually I got fed up with the constant onslaught of GigaChad super enemies and nuclear warheads flying across my screen. So I went back, way back, to the very beginning. Let me tell you about Freshfile. Starting this run is very easy, just make a new save file and go. If you've been playing for a while, you might have forgotten that the game launches you into a run immediately. You don't even know about the daddy issues or meet your stoner brother-in-law until you've died for the very first time. You know what, I've never done this before, but question of the day, what did you die to on your first ever Hades run? I died to a spike trap because my spatial awareness is ass. But back to Freshfile. Compared to what you might have been doing on your main save file, this run might seem slow. Peaceful even. No pacts, no drip, just you and your trusty Stygius against the entire underworld. I found myself wondering how I ever died to these normal speed enemies. You might say this is a simple run, but simple does not mean easy. Freshfile is bare bones, like I'm talking old school back in my day we walked to the surface uphill both ways shit. I immediately found myself missing so many things I took for granted. As of the beginning of the game, the only thing Zagreus used the Mirror of Night for was to style his hair. Death Defiances? Nope. Rerolls? Forget about it. Backstab damage? Maybe if you're lucky you'll get Blinding Flash from Athena. You get one cast, one dash, and if something tears a chunk out of your starting 50 HP, you better hope for a Centaur Heart or a Shop to show up because you're not getting any passive healing. You don't even get to channel your inner Link and break pots for coins since you have to pay the contractor for that. Well, I guess you can still break pots for fun if you really want to. Also, this is a personal thing, but I kinda hate the sword. I'm a distinguished bow enjoyer. The fact that I have to do this run with a melee weapon definitely hurts. I've never felt greater frustration than dashing around the molten plains of Asphodel trying to catch these bouncy fucks. Especially when even if I do catch them, my damage output might not be enough to take them out before they blast off again. The lack of mirror upgrades really eats into your DPS, and you can't actually have chaos or hammers show up on your first run. This isn't too bad in Tartarus, but once you get into Asphodel and Elysium where the really beefy enemies live, or unlive, not sure about that one, it's there that you really start feeling how weak your hits are. Your build options are even more restricted than you might think, since not all the gods in the game can even show up on your first run. In fact, you could only get 4. Athena, Ares, Dionysus, and Artemis. This locks out some great damage and utility boons that would help out a lot here. Tidal Dash, Sea Storm, Life Affirmation, and Greater Reflex come to mind. But what if I told you this has a silver lining? The greatly diminished god pool makes it easier to work towards a certain build. This one build stands above any other strategy available to you in the Freshfile run. This one build I'm talking about is Merciful End. The core idea of this build requires 4 boons. First you get Curse of Agony and Divine Flourish on your attack and special respectively in order to unlock the duo boon Merciful End, which is the real moneymaker of the build. Merciful End allows anything that can deflect to prematurely trigger doom effects on an enemy. This is huge. With the proper moves you can trigger doom multiple times a second, and that doom damage ain't small. That's where Divine Dash comes in. This dash is already top tier in any run, but it plays a pivotal role in the Merciful End build. It can deflect, which means you can use it to trigger doom, and you can spam dashes a lot faster than specials. But this is why the reduced god pool is so good. You're guaranteed to have Athena and Ares show up in the run, it's just a matter of when. The game even does you a solid by making Athena be the first boon you get guaranteed. No. Okay. Oh, you fucker. There we go, baby. Just in time. So the odds for getting Merciful End aren't as bad as you might think, and when you do get it, the increase in damage feels so good. I'll admit it took me some getting used to the dash attack loop, but when I did it right, I actually felt powerful again, just like you will when you subscribe to my YouTube channel. With this build, I was finally able to beat the dynamic duo and head into Styx looking for a father-son showdown. That's not to say this build is an I win button. The single dash really messes with my muscle memory since I'm used to hopping about the place, and every point of damage has ramifications. Just reminding you, I have no Death Defiances, so you could say I have only 1/4 of the total HP I would have in a normal run, not even counting refills. And luck still plays a significant part in Freshfile. Sure, Merciful End isn't too hard to get, but depending on your luck, its power can vary quite a lot. The epic version of Curse of Agony is literally twice as strong as the common version, and if you get a few boons from Dionysus or Artemis, you could get things like Premium Vintage, Pressure Points, Hunter's Mark, or something to fill your cast slot. Shoutouts to an absolutely goated boon for Freshfile, Impending Doom. It increases your doom damage by 60 to 70%. The trade-off is that it takes longer to activate, but Merciful End circumvents this entirely, giving you a huge damage boost all on its own. So the damage your Merciful End combo does can vary wildly based on RNG, and I'm not even considering palms here. But okay, Hades is a roguelike, RNG is part of the package. As long as you don't get completely shafted, you'll have something to work with by the late game. And I got a few good runs. My build was adequate, and I was getting confident with my Merciful End combo. I opened the doors to the outside world. Buffeted by chilly wind for the first time in his life, Zagreus came face to face with the god he might hate most, and his final obstacle. It was time to take down Hades. How did I do? Well... fucking eat shit. Yeah, Hades whooped my ass and sent me to my room. Fresh file is no joke, guys. I've had many runs, but not enough experience fighting the big guy himself under these conditions. But I'm getting close. I'm gonna do it, and you can watch me do it. When this video goes live, I'll be streaming more attempts of Fresh File on my Twitch channel, link in the description. See you there.